all know that Manchester United need to have a massive summer window because what we've just seen from them over the last 9 months is unacceptable when you're a club of that size. Like, Manchester United were horrendous this past season, and they need a major summer clear out, and they also need to bring in some ballers to help them get back to the top where they want to be. And it looks like they've already made their first signing of the summer by bringing in Matheus Cunha. Now, I have no idea how they convinced this guy to still join them because Cunha is a baller. And I think this is a fantastic signing. I think he immediately upgrades Manchester United's attack that's dead, right? And Cunha, the profile of player that he is, I think he does fit in Ruben Amorim's system, right? That back three with the 2 10s and 1 striker up top. You can use Cunha in different positions. You can play him in one of those 10s, or you can put him up there in the 9, and I think he will thrive. Now, I don't think that Cunha is a player that is a bagsman, right? I don't think he's the guy that should be solely relied on to score goals. I mean, he's clear of Rasmus Højlund, but I view Cunha as like another profile like Xerxes, for example, right? Like a striker that can also play as a 10, has very good hold-up play, can link it as well as a creator, and can also put away chances, right? He's very similar to like a Roberto Firmino, like what he did at Liverpool. Now, again, United's attack is dead, right? You got Højlund up front, and aside from maybe Bruno Fernandes, who I don't even rate like that, and Amad Diallo, there's nobody that's really reliable in the final third. So they do have to address a lot more positions, but this is a very good start to their window. And like I said, I'm surprised that he still ended up going there, right? Because if I was Cunha, there's no way that I would leave Wolverhampton to then join a very struggling Manchester United where there's so much things that are not certain at the club. Like, I don't even think that Ruben Amorim's job is safe. I know that he's going to be their manager for next season, but after losing in that Europa League final to Tottenham, if Ruben Amorim is struggling in those first 5 to 10 games next season, I think he gets sacked in November. Because even though I don't think it's all his fault how bad United were, and I did give him the excuse of, well, they brought him in early after they sacked Ten Hag. They didn't really back him in January. They only brought in Patrick Dorgu. But at the same time, the way that United looked week in, week out was horrendous, bro. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty at this club. But bringing in a player like Matheus Cunha, that's a step in the right direction. But I still think they need another attacker. They need somebody else that can be more so relied on for goals, because Matheus Cunha is more of a creator, in my opinion. And he did a very good job at Wolves. Like, he's a player that I think was going to get a big move this summer. And I'm surprised that it seemed like other clubs weren't in for him. I know at one point in time, Arsenal were involved, but then it seemed like their interest kind of went away. And then Manchester United had a free run at this player. And they got this deal done very quickly. Like, they didn't even give him time to probably change his mind. But things, depending on how this summer goes, it can start looking positive for Manchester United. If I was them, there's maybe only 4 or 5 players that I would keep. Everybody else needs to be for sale. If I was United, I would keep Amad Diallo, Lenny Yoro. Shit, Kobe Mainoo doesn't even really have a future at the club. This guy can't even get into Amorim's 11. But, I mean, you would think Mainoo should be staying. Maybe Mazraoui. Who else am I missing here, chat? I just feel like that entire squad has been a major letdown. But bringing in reinforcements like Cunha, yeah, that's a step in the right direction. Again, I wonder how they convinced him to join, though, right? I know United are a huge club, right? They are arguably the biggest club on the planet, especially when you want to factor in like their fans and their commercial value and all these different things. United are a massive club. So it's not like they were going to struggle to pull these players, but I just don't think it's a smart career choice. I feel like, how many examples have we seen of players at Manchester United absolutely being awful, and then they end up leaving that club and then they thrive somewhere else? I feel like United is somewhat of a graveyard for talent. Look at these recent examples. You got Scott McTominay, was at Manchester United, was mediocre. Goes to Napoli, is out there looking like fucking one of the best players in the world. Won Serie A, was arguably the best player in Italy this past season. Look at a player like, for example, Antony at Betis. This guy was at Manchester United, drowning, suffering. He gets a January loan to Betis, and this guy is looking like Neymar fucking possessed. He's absolutely cooking in Spain. Look at Marcus Rashford. Went on loan to Aston Villa. Looked rejuvenated. Same thing with Jadon Sancho at Chelsea. I feel like United is where at least technical players go to die. Aside from Amad Diallo, who else that's technical is really thriving in that squad? Let's be real. Kobe Mainoo can't even break into the 11, right? Look at how they treated Paul Pogba. Look at Di Maria. Look at Jadon Sancho, for example, right? Now, obviously, I think he is going to automatically start for them. I wonder where. In one of those 2-10s, is Bruno Fernandes going to leave, right? What's going to happen with some of these other guys? I think that United, again, they need a major summer clear out. They need to trim down their squad, especially because they're not going to be playing twice a week. So you do have that flexibility to get players off the wage book. It's also a World Cup season next summer. So this is the best time to force players out. For example, look at what they said about Garnacho. They said that the manager told him, yo, Garnacho, you're not going to be playing if you stay. You have to find yourself a new club. Smart. Got to do that. But yeah, Matheus Cunha, baller. Great signing for Manchester United. Their attack definitely needs help. And I view him as a 10, though. Again, Xerxes kind of profile. You know, you said he's like a 9.5. That's what Cunha is. He's played well for Wolves. He's also played well for Brazil. Good player. And with the fact of the price, right? They're saying that United only paid, or they're going to only have to pay his release clause of £62.5 million. But you know how usually release clauses have to get paid at one time? This is going to be broken down into installments. So it's still going to give them flexibility to make more signings. So it's a good piece of business by Manchester United. I like how fast they got this deal done. It seems like a lot of teams are working on transfers early. Now, I know that the Club World Cup is coming up, and that allows for teams that are in that tournament to move fast. But it seems like teams that aren't even involved in the tournament are still trying to get their business done ASAP. And I actually like it. I feel like we've seen a lot more here we goes in May than we did last year at this same time. But get in the comment section. I want to know, what do you guys think about Matheus Cunha going to Manchester United? Did he make a mistake, or do you think he will cook underneath Ruben Amorim? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. The janitor and lunch lady that got fired from Manchester United, that's where this money is going towards. Bringing in ballers like Cunha.